Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yemini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Parsha Perspective is in loving memory of Edward ben Efraim and Shlomo ben Edward, and in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Shaul ben Berta, Sasson ben Batia, Gabriel ben Deana, and Yirachmiel ben Tova Basha. May they have a complete and speedy recovery. This week's Parsha Perspective is dedicated in honor of my dear friend Natnel's birthday. May Hashem bless him and his family with much health, success, and happiness. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Shoftim. Our Parsha outlines the leadership structure for the Jewish people. We begin with the mitzvah with the commandment to appoint judges and law officers in each city to maintain order and peace. Moshe then details the specific laws for judges against corruption and the perversion of justice, as the pasuk says, "Tzedek tzedek terdoith," you shall surely pursue justice. Moshe then continues and gives regulations for the kings, such as not having many wives or acquiring excessive amounts of wealth. He relates why priests, were not allowed to inherit any portions in Israel, for God is their inheritance. And although they are scheduled by family to work in the Beis Hamikdash or Mishkan, a kohen always has the right to personally offer his sacrifice. Moshe then explains the rules and regulations against going or listening to sorcery or witchcraft. He describes how to differentiate between a genuine or false navi, a false prophet, and punishing those and the punishment for those who falsely claim that God spoke to them. However, a question comes to mind. During the explanation of the laws against following any form of magic or black magic, Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha." You must be whole before the Lord your God. But what exactly does Moshe Rabbeinu mean when he says, "be whole with God"? What attribute, character trait, or feeling is Moshe specifically speaking about? Rashi, Rabbeinu Shlomo Yitzchaki, the foremost commentator on the Torah, quotes the Medrash Sifri, which explains two ways to be tamim im Hashem, to be whole with God. The first way is to place your complete and total trust in Him. You should not wish or desire to ascertain or know the future through unholy and unsanctified means. And the second way of being whole with God, tamim im Hashem, is to live with humility due to God's immense greatness and holiness. The Yirachmiel Rev Chaim ibn Attar, a Moroccan commentary and Kabbalist, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He writes that being tamim im Hashem, whole with God, is not just believing in God, but rather living with absolute truth and honesty with your Father in heaven. Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the Jewish nation that being genuine and open with Hashem is the most reliable way to have a meaningful relationship with Him. The Yirachmiel explains that God created human beings with both good and bad inclinations that stem from our godly and animalistic souls. And therefore, our connection with God should come from both these opposite and conflicting sides. Since hiding an integral and existing aspect of oneself will lead to a life filled with fraud and deception, yet being vulnerable and truthful with Hashem, especially about your misdeeds, empowers you to be tamim im Hashem, whole with God. You will receive and experience a high and profound level of His holiness and love. And this lesson is ever more important during the month of Elul, a month set for tshuva and self-reflection on our past misdeeds. This practice enables us to honestly confess and admit to our wrongdoings, our mistakes on Yom Kippur, and begin the new year with a clean slate. In our daily life, it is imperative that we are honest when dealing with others, but mainly with ourselves. We must be truthful about our faults and shortcomings to identify and change what holds us back from success. Since concealing our flaws forces us to live an artificial life devoid of meaning and purpose. But honesty with others and ourselves begin to close the gaps in our blind spots and makes us tamim im Hashem, whole with God. There's an amazing quote that I once read. Honesty is telling the truth to ourselves and others, and integrity is living that truth. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.